Authorities are investigating a report of an apparent suicide which has left a 25-year-old man dead. They say the incident occurred around 5:30 yesterday morning when a crew member of the Royal Caribbean cruise ship Monarch of the Sea reportedly jumped overboard 6 miles from the port of Nassau. Those are all the details police have now as they continue to investigate. The Bahamas Business Outlook opened today at the Wyndham Nassau Resort in Cable Beach. In officially opening the event, Minister of State for Finance Zhivago Lang told the business community that the Bahamas economy is showing signs of positive growth. Fern Carey tells us more.
Despite the global financial crunch, the Bahamas' economy is still experiencing growth, according to Minister of State for Finance Zhivago Lang. The junior finance minister informed the business community Thursday that last year the economy grew by 2%, and those gains are expected to be sustained over the next 3 years.
The Bahamas economy will grow by between 2.5% and 2.8% this year. And this, of course, is consistent with what the IMF is also forecasting for our economy. That notwithstanding, regrettably, unemployment is likely to remain in double digits, though there is the expectation that there will be some continuing decline from the 13.8% that we recorded last year. We further expect to sustain that growth trajectory with a 2.4% in 2013 and 2.3% in 2014.
The government recognized that improved tourism numbers due to cruise and stopover accounts, better global economic prospects, and increased construction in the private sector, particularly the Bahama project, is expected to support that growth.
Overall, they have spent on the project to date $100 million. It is expected in 2012 that they will invest some $831 million, with some $206 million in additional subcontracts to Bahamian employees. Albany expects in the first quarter of this year, for instance, to spend some $218 million annualized, and have already spent on the project some $500 million.
Lang also noted that despite high unemployment numbers and business challenges, the government uses fiscal headroom to invest in legislative and fiscal reforms and public sector infrastructure investment. It's a move that's expected to boost consumer confidence while improving employment prospects. The Minister of State for Finance also defended the national debt and said that Bahamas has a relatively low debt-to-GDP ratio compared with other Caribbean countries.
We had, at the beginning of this crisis, a debt-to-GDP ratio of the order of 37%. At the same time as we went into the crisis with that 37% debt-to-GDP ratio, Barbados went into it with a 100% debt-to-GDP ratio. I want to remind you that in order to get to 100% debt-to-GDP ratio, someone had to be lending you money when you reach 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 90%, 100%. And those somebodies was not the country itself. Financial institutions were doing this. Jamaica, 120%.
Meantime, Minister Lang says that Bahamas is more ready now than we've ever been to do business in the 21st century. Fern Carey, ZNS News.
Meantime, civil servants are taking advantage of the opportunity to become owners in the Arawak Port Development Company. Minister of State for Finance Zhivago Lang says the response has been tremendous.
Overwhelming reaction, actually. I think people they see it as an opportunity, and lots of them are doing the necessary to take advantage of it. And it's actually encouraging to see. You know, it's saving and investing versus spending.
Now, Minister Lang had this to say about the benefits of purchasing shares.
You get what we call capital appreciation, meaning that over time your shares increase in value. So you might buy it at $10, 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, it'll have a higher price attached to it, and so that you get that value for yourself. So if you sell the shares later on, you get that benefit. And then there's the dividends. So you can have both things happening. It is almost certain that people could see that capital appreciation in a year, 2 years, etc.